Alright, so Zeri and Darius hitting the banned board. Momentum doesn't want the Big Bird top laner having anything to do with Darius. That has been a permanent ban. It seems to be that everyone kind of is aware of this Darius, so it's been very interesting to see that draft adaptation throughout the entirety of the series. Well, really the day, as Hen is also going to hit the ban board, trying to take away that top lane pressure. So trying to pinch the top lane pool definitely is momentum. And then also a dual takeaway from the jungle, as Hen just making sure that there is not a lot of ability to flex that role. And in the meantime, 3 different roles hit for Big Bird Club. They take away the Zeri, the Lulu, and the Victor. Huge prio on Victor today. We've been seeing quite a bit of it, some obviously from the same teams, but I think just what it gives in sort of a team fighting capability, zoning, and the lane, it's just no-brainer. It gives you a lot of power, and it's a great scaling champion. This Nami is going to come out. We've seen also a lot of Nami today. Emphasis on that trading in the lane, that healing and shielding power, and obviously that protection that she gives. It's a huge deal. A lot of champions like it. A lot of players like her. And so it makes sense that we're going to see quite a bit of her. As momentum, they want to grab Volibear. Is his fur white because he's old and wizened and because he is demigod? Or is it white because he does a lot of illegal substances on the one we find out? Is he a cocaine bear? Is he the cocaine bear? No way to know. Emilio also being drafted alongside the Volibear. Great answer to the Nami. I think it's one of the more effective shielding and healing characters that supports, can kind of play. Also, just a tremendous amount of utility and great in lane. So, I mean, it makes sense to pick it. And the Corki paired alongside potentially the Nami. It's obviously a mid lane flex, but I think we're kind of past the days where we see Corki primarily in the mid lane. I think we could just fully expect it to go towards that bot side. Meanwhile, Dr. Mundo wants to continue to try and go where he pleases. Big Bird Club have plenty of experience with that champion, and a great pickup for them. And Caitlyn going to be paired alongside the Emilio. Okay, so 2 very poke-heavy bot lanes and potentially 2 very interesting junglers. The Dr. Mundo obviously is a flex toward the top side, but I think we can reasonably expect it to be in the jungle. Same thing with the Volibear, not expecting to see that top. However, momentum thinking that perhaps the Dr. Mundo flex needs a little bit more consideration. And Bessa, another dual threat, could go top lane, could go jungle. The Mundo, again, having that flex gives you the ability to, kind of give you some threat and draft, but I would fully expect it to go into the jungle. Twisted Fate, a semi-global champion being taken off the board. A Big Bird obviously seeing something there that they don't like. And Momentum taking away that Mordekaiser, what seems to be a fairly common ban. And Olaf, the last ban of the first game of our upper bracket series. Now it's all about rounding out the comp. What else do they want to get? They've got pretty good mixed damage between Kate, Emilio, and Volibear. They'd probably like to index into something maybe a little bit more AP focused, so potentially looking at a mid laner here. But maybe they want to save it and just answer something for the top, and they're going to grab that Renekton and look to get that final counter pick for their mid laner. So what will be the response here? And again, this is where Big Bird Club can still technically respond because they have the draft threat with the Mundo, so they can look to maybe switch this up and get something that they think is favorable into the Renekton to keep Dr. Mundo in that top and in the jungle, or they can just flex them top side to get a better jungle matchup. There are plenty of great junglers, but no, they instead have decided that they want to keep the Dr. Mundo in the jungle and bring out that Cho'Gath. Interesting to see the Cho'Gath Renekton matchup. This is one I don't see a lot. I'm not super knowledgeable on that matchup. I mean, Renekton is obviously just kind of an infamous lane bully, and Cho'Gath famously kind of takes a little while to come online, as he has to stack his passive and getting the Devour stacks, but is also not the easiest champion to bully. They're going to grab a semi-global ultimate with the Rise hovering there. Rise has started to come online a little bit more in response to champions like Kassadin and Victor, which I think is very reasonable. We're starting to see a lot more because he's a great Broads mage, has a lot of great control, does tremendous amount of damage in the late game, scales spectacularly well. So glad to see that Big Bird have kind of recognized as well and want to put that in. But that means a potential counter pick in the mid lane. Obviously, you can grab another control mage, Orianna, Talia, Aurelion Sol, and there it is. They're going to answer with a scaling mage of their own. Plenty of mobility. And I like it. And we are on to the Rift, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, that thing is bugging me. The fact that it hasn't updated the series win for BBC and for for momentum. But that's okay. You know, can't have everything. On the bottom, that 0-0, just understand it's supposed to be showing 1-0. For whatever reason, it's not tracking particularly well. That's fine. Not every element of the software works all the time like it should, but that's okay. Because we got the most important things, including 2 teams on the Rift that absolutely want to win this tournament. And they have been playing like it all day. Again, Big Bird Club and Momentum, they are our 1-0 teams. This Taurus going to take a little bit of damage. Actually, kind of quite a bit of damage. This Chicken Thucky augments that damage. And Red happy to trade here a little bit with Black Mage. No slice and dice, so it's not the most scary combo. A lot of early poking and prodding going on for both these teams. Everyone trying to get a little cheeky with the damage. So Torres, that was a very quickly canceled Q. Just wanted to convince the Rise to not combo him. Or to hit it with any abilities. No combo. It's on level 1. What am I saying? So early jungle priority is going to be big for both of these teams, I think, because the lanes, I think you expect to go fairly even outside of missteps and some bad trading. Fire and Ice forced to use the barrier really early. I don't think he necessarily needed to do that. I think he could have just held on to that and waited for Yushi to passively heal him up, but maybe we just felt that the engage was coming on. No aggressive summoner spells. I have like no ignite, so I think a little bit premature on using that defensive summoner, but also like if you feel like you're in imminent danger, you're just going to use it. And Brad, oh, there's the ignite. These guys, they want to try and kill each other. Who's going to get the first blood? Oh, flashback! They missed each other, and the auto is what gives first blood over to Impred. Big Bird Club happy to get that one. Violent in that top side. They're not waiting for junglers at all. Huge pickup for him. We see that one again. That was a long trade, and the awkward flash of like dueling, you know, samurai katana kind of thing. We're going to go ahead and play that replay for you. So, of course, we saw the poking the prod and the bot, but then they were slowly passively trading this top side. Inbred just landing the passively with his E, but then Black Mage decides to go ahead and throw out the Ignite here in just a second. Wants to try and get that aggressive trade. Feels like that he can just do it. Like, maybe he's going to... Maybe he thought he was going to take over level 2, which he ended up doing, but Inbred had way more health, flashed the opposite direction, and he just couldn't get it turned around. And first blood over to Inbred. This is going to feel really, really good. So he can even look to reset with the teleport, and he's just going to continue to shove Black Mage underneath the turret. And so the one thing that I was worried about, the passive scaling for that Cho'Gath, now not an issue at all. And I think what makes that hurt even more is the fact that that was an aggressive summoner spell used by Black Mage. Like that Ignite is supposed to give you the win in that moment, but it just didn't. Like Inbred had way more health than maybe it appeared like he was going to, and so his reward is that gold, that first blood, that sweet, sweet loot. We saw something similar in the first series with the Big Bird Club and how aggressive Inbred was playing and how he was able to come away with his first bloods. So this isn't exactly something new that we're seeing today, but you know, against another 1-0 team that has the ability to fight him on that, it's impressive still to see that. And what this means too is with the trade of this flash is that'll signal junglers to come up there and, you know, from Big Bird's side, you know, they'll want to come up and try to press that lead perhaps even more. And for Momentum side, they'll want to try and protect that Renekton and get him back into a winning state because a Renekton that is down from the start is kind of just a dead Renekton. The jungler's pathing, not too aggressive right now. Ping's coming down. This is exactly what we just talked about, though. No flashes. Inbred may not know this is happening. Aggressive ping's coming down. Mundo waiting in the wings. What are they going to do? It's going to be the stun, but they don't want to fight this too heavily because Save the Fishes is here. Can they knock down Electra? Inbred just slowly being knocked down. The Conqueror procced, and now Save the Fishes has to walk out. Hasn't been stunned yet, so the CC shield hasn't been popped, but maybe wants to try and trade for Electra. Auto. Oh, just misses. With the Q, wants to trade Electra out of there. He is going to get hit by Electrical Field, but it should just be a 1-for-0 trade. And the assist is going to be given to Electra. Or, so it's not Electra, it's Ectra. I'm sorry. That L was not real. Now, this is where things get interesting, because with the gold being even on that top side, it means that there's categorically no advantage there, especially because the kill went over to Renekton. So it means he can kind of respond to some itemization. And with Dragon spawning in about 20 seconds, the junglers are a little bit behind him where they'd normally like to be with itemization to potentially start a Dragon. I will say, though, that because of the momentum that BBC has in that bot side, even though they were spotted on a ward leaving the lane, like they have priority, so that Dragon could just be theirs. Depends on where Ectra just kind of wants to passively roam through. His camps are up, though, so he'll probably want to focus on those a little bit more than necessarily trying to get an early drag. What was interesting when I was getting a chance to meet all the teams was how aggressively the junglers talked about wanting to make sure that they could get those early drags. And really that no one even really cared about the passive grubs or the really the Rift Herald, unless it was just imminently available. Ooh, flash down. Star Call in on top of Sifl. A little bit more than he could chew, and Electra is going to get that kill, which should just be the dragon going over. Aggressive movement from Torres to make sure that he didn't get stunned up by the Rise in that jungle. They turn it around, walks away with a kill. A kill and assist for the Volibear. Hard to feel hard done by, just sitting in a state like that. Things coming down, though. Any potential Dragon progress that might have been made is going to be stalled by the fact that Mundo has been discovered going where he pleases, including clearing out this control board. A little bit of free gold given over. You spent 75 to give 25, so it's like a net loss of 100. Inbred getting knocked underneath the turret. Ektra, this is a little aggressive. Save the fishes, was momentarily stunned. Ektra going to be trying to get underneath there. Does get bubbled. Ektra was momentarily stopped, but not going to be stopped long enough to not kill the Mundo. They're going to kill him. They're going to get the dragon momentum. They may have lost first blood, but they have been hitting every hit since then. And if you're a Big Bird Club, you want to start to try and slow this game down a little bit. You're not in a rush to get super ahead. One dragon does not make or break your game right now. You know, you always have a chance to passively stop the dragon stacking at a later time. And like you have to, and just like core remembering that you have a Mundo who's going to scale and get stronger. You have a Cho'Gath that will be a menace at, the 25-30 minute mark. Rise obviously again wants to scale. And all these champions have really expensive items, so it's not easy for them to just get to the scaling point. And I've often said this too. I've made this remark, and I think it's important, like, for teams to remember. And I think if anyone's listening to this, you play in a competitive team, and you kind of get moments like this. It's important to remember that you have to play the game that you're in right now and play to what you have, and not where you imagine yourself being. Because I think players, they get so used to being in late game states and imagining where they want to be that they make decisions that ultimately they can't actually follow through with. They try to make plays that aren't that don't match with where they're at power level wise, early on in the game. And so people are playing for the state that they want to be in and not where they're actually at. And that can lead to, feeling like you're falling behind. It can lead to feeling, impatient. And so I think for Big Bird Club, I think it's just like important to remember, hey, we're not in a rush. Like, we have plenty of time. If we negate any attempts at early plays that momentum want to make, then we have plenty of opportunities to scale and win this game. So across the board, it's kind of cooled down a little bit. Conqueror's Brock Dominus as well. Inbred wants to try and walk this out. Ignite on top of him. Black Mage Flash. Didn't use the Slice and Dice because it was off cooldown, but does manage to get the Flash of the Cho'Gath, who will be able to teleport back to this lane, but he's going to have temporary prio there. It's going to make it easier to lock that Cho'Gath down if Volibear wants to gank there. The next couple seconds, there's going to be, I think, some big plays tried to make that people are going to try to make towards this Herald. The BBC would like to grab it if they can, and there's not going to be an answer just yet. They do know that this is happening, does Momentum. I think they're just probably going to choose to not allow this to happen. They're just going to let the grubs go down and just call that an even trade. Especially since they're not necessarily worried about the siege right now. Like, they have the Caitlyn and the Melio, so it's not so easy to... It's not so easy for Corki and for Nami to go and get turret plates. So itemization-wise, a number of these champions we've seen today, so the itemization stays fairly simple in terms of what they want. Ektra did bait this out. This is going to be a flank on the bot side, but Sunny Waffle may just be dead before there's a chance. That's going to be the ultimate committed. Ektra will be the next to fall for that side. Bubble on top of the Melio. Didn't used to get anybody else. Just a one-for-one trade there. A bunch expended by Sunny Waffle to live there. That play wasn't really fast enough. Sifl kind of waited a little bit too long and kind of teleported to the wrong side. They should have teleported over the wall where Sunny was getting pursued by the Volibear. So a little bit of a misplay there. They should have been a little bit faster on that play to try and protect the Corki, especially knowing that he was baiting the Volibear. Yeah, but it's one of those things where it ends up being a one-for-one, but I still think very expensive for Sunny, who's going to be down both of his sums, which is going to make it harder to survive another gank like that, especially if Ektra decides he wants to play through the lane and shut off the tower. And the CS fairly even across the board for both these teams. A little bit of a disadvantage, about a 10 CS lead there in the bot side for Fire and Ice. But fairly even across the board everywhere else, except for the jungle. That's probably the biggest difference there. Is it's 81 to 68, so almost 20 CS difference. Something else important, I think, the comment I made earlier about the scaling is obviously the Aurelian Soul scaling, the scaling breakpoints that he meets. You know, just how big his abilities get. Sifl doesn't really have a way out of this one. Star Call Flash has managed to avoid that one. Oh, Torres, he tried to float the wrong direction, and now Sifl wants to try and see if he can turn this around. Save the fishes. Ektra has no ulti. He's going to pursue this underneath the turret if he can. Torres going to get bottled up. A little bit of damage. Flash out. And then managed to get a Chicken Thuggy with the E. Sif will try to chase to the tower to get a little bit more. They wanted to get 2 kills out of that, but weren't able to do so. Still will be happy with that one. Of course, the trade there, though, is that Sunny Waffle is going to be having a very bad time underneath that turret. Plates are dropping. His health is dropping. The stocks are dropping. His happiness and his enjoyment of the game also dropping. So it's difficult trying to protect your voice in long series like this. Good news is this it's been fairly decent action, but nothing too explosive. Oh, they're spotted on a ward. Yeah, I need to clear out of that bush. That would have been fun to get hit. He's going to back in that bush. He's going to get stopped again. Like, they need to recognize that there is a ward in that bush, and you are going to be stopped every time. They stop 2 backs. Like, clear the ward or step farther away. And that's a lesson that you should not want to have to learn multiple times, but in this case, will. Let's check a Thuggy. Trying to be proactive in denying the vision. Doing a pretty good job of it so far, too. Uh-oh, Yushi gets temporarily knocked up by the bubble. No dragon, or sorry, no jungler available right now as extra backs, but also BBC not in a position. Oh, Yushi. Oh, actually, great flash. I was about to wonder what he was doing. That was a very, very aggressive play made with the Rise teleport. Eyes in the back of his head, a 6th sense with that one. Managed to get out of the danger. Knew somehow that was coming. Gets underneath the turret, and now the dragon that was previously going to be unavailable, position-wise, they now should be able to take it, but he's coming down, and Bread, the Dominus doing quite a bit of damage. No flash to get out of this one. The knock to buy a little bit of space. Dragon goes down. Never loser, not necessarily safe. Star Call on top of 1. Thuggy is down. What else can they get? Extra. Surviving still. The Corky's the second to go. Ziffle and Save the Fishies have to get out of here. Torres on the opposite side of this one. Maybe able to get the stun out from Electra. Save the Fishies get an extra try. Double kill for the Caitlyn. And Torres picks up a kill of his own. 1, 1, and 4. Gonna be really happy about that one. They lose the dragon, but get 4 across the board. Fantastic play from Momentum. And yeah, just passive fighting. They were happy to turn that around. And that all started off with the Big Bird's play, just trying to aggressively teleport near the turret, but couldn't get there, couldn't turn anything off, couldn't kill anybody. And then they make this call to try to go towards the dragon, which arguably I think really wasn't theirs anymore, even though they had the positioning. The health bars were okay, but was always going to be responded to by Momentum. And now the swing there is it's a more than a 3.5k gold lead. And Sunny Waffle and Chicken Thuggy, they're no closer to being able to contest Fire and Ice and Yushi. This is starting to look rough in that bot side. Torres is going to be very happy to have his Rylai's Crystal Scepter and the Empowered Boots. That nice, juicy Empowered Recall. Ektra trying to delay Inbred. They're the same level, so it's not a huge advantage. Save the Fishes is here. This is a 2-on-2. Knockup is going to miss. How they want to re-ingress onto this. Dominus, soon to be available. What do they want to do? Sifl here as well. Now it's a 3-on-2. The ability that we talked about starting to show itself. Flash out. Blackreach has to be careful. But now, here's the Aurelian Soul. What else can he do? The Gravity Well pulls him back in. Blackmage gets the kill. They want more. Dominus popped. Sifl getting damaged. Gonna slowly get attacked, and now Ektra gets his 5th kill of the game. This volley bear is on fire. It's a bear, it's a crocodile, and it's a dragon. It's the full barnyard here on the top side, and they are getting kills and collecting names. And they're gonna ping down onto this Herald. In the next 30 seconds, they're gonna set up for that one. Momentum, they are playing like they've got momentum. Teleport gonna come out. Inbred wants to try and salvage something from this, wants to at least be able to absorb some of these minions, but he's been put under so much pressure so far. The Black Mage showing his true colors there. His capability, Fire and Ice, getting a little bit of distance. There's that headshot, a 90 caliber net, doing enough to dissuade any further follow-up. And the ult from Yushi as well, buying Fire and Ice just a little bit more time to work with there. The flash into that was a little aggressive, I think. Yushi going to potentially get locked down here. Will die. I don't know that it was worth it to flash into the Realm Warp with a Rise, but I mean, it's going to net them a kill, but I don't know that that was the smartest decision, but they'll call it a win just to try and trade back for something, though. But a 4.3k gold lead still for momentum. You didn't get a lot out of that play, but you're going to get a little bit of pressure to be able to trade for some of these turret plates. But I think you're going to end up in a situation if you're Sunny Waffle where you're going to wish that you had that flash here shortly. Speaking of flash, Inbred's going to wish he had his. Electra, such a nuisance. He has set up a tent in this top lane, and he is more than happy to set up a campfire, roast some marshmallows, and get him a nice big chunk of Cho'Gath sandwich. He's on a killing spree. 6-1-5, Volley Bear. Yep, if you're Echa, you're having a very good time. Which should just mean Herald's free. Top tier is soon to fall. Is going to deny some of those minions. Just let them be passively killed by the turret. First turret gold going into the pocket of the Renekton, and momentum. They have a very, very good lead right now. It's going to be difficult to see how BBC really responds to this because passively they're just losing across all the different lanes. Fire Nice again, not under too much danger. Lands the ultimate. Save the Fish's steps in front of it so that damage is not going to calculate. Dude keeps getting hit by the cleavers. That is not a fun place to be in. Just a lot of heavy skirmishing in this bot side. Meanwhile, on the top side, though, collecting yet another objective. We're going to look to reset. They can start to try and push this out towards this mid lane and even make a play. They're going to lose a lot in the mid lane for this. Are they going to dive? Yeah, there's nobody here. They're going to trade this for bot side plates, potentially knock down this turret. But right now, Ektra just 1v1ing Inbred in his own side of the jungle. He's coming down there. Teleport from Aurelion Soul. Wave going to come out. They're not going to collect this turret. What else can they get? Soul has access to the Starfall. Unless you're going to pick up mid-turret. Okay. There's a brief moment of calm before the Storm Dragon. In about 10 seconds, conceivably, this should just go towards momentum. The health bars, not really good for BBC. They're going to have to take the recall. Spot on a ward, but that only tells BBC what they already knew, which is that the Dragon was just going to straight up go towards momentum. It's going to be Infernal Dragon, and we will have an Infernal Soul. As Black Mage is giving us our tier list, his tier list of Dragon Souls earlier, and he felt that Infernal Soul was pretty good. And we saw Silver Mage try to make the use of that one in that second game against Baggy Pampers, trying to utilize the power of that Infernal Soul on the Vayne. Ended up not working out too much for them, though, because they ended up losing in a very, very close game, too. They gambled it all. Sometimes when you gamble, you lose a little bit, but it wasn't for lack of trying. Massive respect to them. So momentum, the question for me now is what do they want to do with this Herald in terms of... Oh, no, they already used it. I'm sorry. What do they want to do with the pressure off of that Herald? They've started to knock down these structures. They still have 3 turrets. They're not really in any danger. Torres can kind of 1v2 in the spot side. She's just going to come provide a little bit of support. Gets bubbled for his trouble, though. I'm going to get you some snorkels and some goggles, my friend, if you're going to be spending a lot of time underwater like that. But momentum kind of have the run of the map right now where they can sort of just do what they want in terms of positioning. Like, this is just going to be the continued, like, interaction here on this bot side. Like, Torres, like, doesn't at all care that he's getting hurt. Starcall's going to miss. Grand Starfall, sorry, is going to miss. But he'll just continue to get stacks. He's at 208 stacks right now. He's actually doing a really, really good job of being efficient with the gravity well and farming that with the Q. Ping's coming down on this bottom side turret, though. BBC want to try and knock the structure down so they have a little bit more freedom across the map, but it's not that easy. Especially when there's someone constantly clearing the wave. Meanwhile, though, that mid turret is going to go down next. Ektra trying to see what else he can get done. Jumps out on top of Save the Fishes. Just so much damage. The electric fall going to land on top of that as well. Taurus is here. Flash forward. Not able to get a gravity well. Trying to see what else it can get done. Wave on top of everything. This is a very, very standard fight. But now Syphil is here. The health bar's low. They might be able to start to turn this extra. What can he get done? Stun. Running away with the empowered movement speed. Meanwhile, Black Mage. He's going to kill Sunny Waffle. Just a split team fight. 4 strong for the side of momentum. And ultimately, they agree to part ways. They've decked each other a couple times. They lost a turret. And everyone lost something. No one's happy. So we're going to get that replay and show you that extended team fight So you can see here, this all starts off with Extra trying to get this fight going, gets on top of Save the Fishes, isn't necessarily able to knock him down, but does know that he has multiple members coming. Torres right behind him to support him, throws the gravity well down. They start to do quite a bit of damage. Sunny Waffle tries to find his way out of this one, but doesn't really let too many places to go. Yes, Torres goes down, but Black Mage, you can see him. He has his eyes set on the prize, flash forward, slice, dice, gets on top of that Corky. Chicken Thuggy just running for the hills, trying to get desperately away from Renekton. And that's ultimately the 1-for-1, and a lot expended there. But Momentum still keeping their position across the map right now. They're going to be very happy with that fight. They got a lot out of it. And it's 1 turret to 3. It's massive gold leads across most of the major members. And all that gold outside of the small gold difference that Sifil has right now, you'd be really happy if you're Renekton. Obviously, if you're Volibear, 6-1 and 6. And Caitlyn, just a small gold lead. But most of that is in that top jungle duo for Momentum. And the game plan that they put together, obviously, it's very clearly working. Now it's just about keeping their foot on the pedal and utilizing their advantage as well as they possibly can. Dragon spawn in about a minute and 15 seconds. Black Mage has a significant level lead and item lead over Inbred. They're calling for the junglers here. They want to try and knock down this Cho'Gath if they can. Sliced Ice is stunned. Volley wants to try and land his own. He's going to go down next. What can Save the Fishes do? Nothing. He throws a ukulele and says, that chord didn't particularly strike well with me, so I guess I have to leave. Extra wants more. He just wants to threaten and force Save the Fishes to leave. I don't know that they necessarily win this. Multiple pings coming down, but there's a pinch. Who is flanking who? Multiple members of Momentum still coming down. This is a teleport into the wrong side. They don't know that Momentum had 4 people here. That's going to be the Nami Wave trying to buy a little bit of the space, but Electra dives down. Black Mage unstoppable. Sifil dead. And yeah, Save the Fishes, he's just fish food now. As Fire and Ice putting the damage into the back of the Mundo, who is being shown that he can't, in fact, go where he pleases. This Dragon spawning in about 20 seconds. This is going to go straight to Momentum. They're going to get their 3rd one, put themselves on drag point. Fantastic fight for them, and a disastrous Realm Warp for BBC. I'm going to show that again. Oh, dadgummit, I just said that twice. Let's see. So you see Extra, like they're trying to run into here to get the flank on top of Sifil, who doesn't know that Yushi and Fire and Ice were just waiting in the wings. And by the time Save the Fishes gets there, he's like, I can't really do anything. I'm lacking any significant damage. Multiple members have teleported here. The Taurus teleport, I think, was not necessarily like important. They didn't need to do that, but they decided. And yeah, that team tonight just goes absolutely against BBC. They thought that they had the angle, but the only thing they had was the angle to the gray screen. A momentary lull in the action for both these teams. And I think if you're BBC, you know, the same thing that we were talking about earlier, it's the same thing that they need to do now, which is they need to slow the game down. Inbred's level 13. He's, you know, significantly behind in CS as opposed to Black Mage, who is aggressively utilizing his Renekton to get out of the back line of BBC. Sunny Waffle and Chicken Thuggy, they've never had a moment of peace every time these Renekton's been around. And Sifil, bless his heart, who's trying to get on top, trying to create moments where they can get something going, just hasn't had a chance. A couple of bad Realm Warps has led those team fights to not go where they want to. And now for Momentum, it's making sure that they keep their foot on the pedal and pour gas onto the flame. They can start to do that. They have plenty of ways to sort of bring this game to a logical conclusion and kind of enforce the ending. They can just wait for the next dragon. They can make a play around Baron. They have 2 bruisers, which means they can just effectively eat that damage. So can BBC, but obviously they don't have the damage to do it just yet because they don't have all the items that they need on their carries. It's Trinity Force and Mana Mune for Sunny Waffle. Right now, both teams just kind of agreeing to pump the brakes a minute, take stock of what they got. Look to just farm up a little bit, play around the map. The Taurus, 252 stacks. His abilities are going to get more and more massive as the game goes on. It's going to be almost impossible to dodge any of them. What they want to do. Electra. Just getting passively healed up by Yushi. That always feels nice. Gonna get the Scuttle Crab with a little bit of vision. And I think right now, BBC just aren't tremendously sure about what they want to do. and how they want to approach this game. Or sorry, approach the next couple of minutes, but this is the call to go in. Extra gonna land on top of the Corki, and he's down. Black Mage dominating, and a playoff set off Extra. That's all they need to go straight to Baron. Dr. Moon is still available. There could be a potential smite fight, but it's going to be very, very difficult for them to make their way into this Baron pit. Torres able to just passively zone them off. Black Mage, he's popped the Dominus. Starfall onto the Nami. He's down. Chicken Thuggy goes straight to the fountain. Save the fishes. Wants to try and get in here. Has the passive shield, but surely there's no way he gets this. He's trying to make his way towards the back of the pit. Hasn't been CC'd yet. Does have access to the flash. He can look to steal it. He's into the Baron pit. That's 20,000 health. 2,000. Oh! It cost him his life, but he steals it away. And now Sinful, he has the Baron power minions in the bot side. He'll be able to absolutely shred this tower. It costs 2 and a position, but be damned, BBC, they're not going to go away without a fight. They steal the Baron. The impossible and improbable play happens. No CC. No problem. Dr. Amundo goes exactly where he wants. We gotta see that again. So you can see it here. The minions, it's 22,000 health, 29 damage. They're trying to stop him. It gets under 18. Then it goes to 1. He steals it with about 1 health left. Is the dual smiting. And actually, Extra didn't even land his smite. There wasn't a dual smite. Electra didn't even land it. That's how close it was. 1 damage. 1. And Dr. Mundo came away with it. That is some incredible plays. Like, even if they lose the game, you cannot unsteal that Baron. That's the things that that's the stuff that legends are made of. And even if BBC loses this game, they're going to be chuckling. Go, yeah, you may lose this game, but we stole that Baron. And actually, this puts him in a decent position to continue to stall out the game as well. He can start to put pressure throughout some of these lanes, and it started so well for Momentum as Black Mage. He's just gonna get attacked underneath this turret. They want to get him. They don't want to let him go. A little bit of health. Dominus already popped. This would be an easy kill. Inbred eating so many turret shots. Miniwave gonna flash out. Oh, CFI flashed. Star Call going to miss, but actually lands up onto 1. They want to try and see if they can get Taurus. He's stunned underneath the turret. He's dead. Double kill for CFIL. Is this what they need? Is this the way they get back into the game? Big Bird Club with a big brain mentality. Meanwhile, though, Momentum, they're not going to go quietly. They're going to make sure that they get something for their trouble. They're going to be in a position to grab this Dragon Soul. 3 seconds, 2, 1. Electra will be there soon to get it. BBC, they want to try and get out there. They have access to the Realm Warp. They can try and respond to this, but it's too dead for the side of Momentum. Surely they aren't trying to make the call to get this. They're going to Realm Warp in there. Flash to get into it. The Dragon already on low health. 3,000, 2,000, extra. It's a shutdown for Sifil. What else can they get? Smite fight. It's the Drag Soul as well. Denied. Electra not able to get anything. It was just chomped by Inbred. And now Sunny Waffle here to repay the favor that Electra paid him earlier. Helps the Cho'Gath collect a kill. BBC, they may have been down, but they were most certainly not out. And that gold that was so heavily in favor of Momentum is now completely and utterly gone. They are collecting it. It's still 1.4, but that's as good as a paperweight. And now BBC, they can really look to turn the screws on this. Now they've reached the point where they needed to. They had time to slow the game, time to get their items up, time to scale. And now they are absolutely monstrous. A Black Mage who had such a dominant position earlier in this game is now is reduced to staying underneath the tower, minion culling duty. As Inbred Loser, he's able to just go wherever he wants. He's like a second Mundo. He's not threatened by anything for the side of Momentum. This is the call that they have to make. Got to be decisive, and that's exactly what they've done. And now from Momentum, you've got to find a way to break out of this little streak that's been going on. Every fight you've been taking is going against you. You've tried 2 objectives to take. They've both been stolen. You've got aggressive. I think arguably that Dragon was never theirs. They didn't have the man advantage with Cho'Gath and Dr. Mundo up. There's no chance that they're going to lose that. Dr. Mundo just early smites, and then Cho'Gath just devours it, or vice versa. Now Momentum, they're kind of in this point in this game where they're going to be forced to respond to everything that BBC wants to do. They're no longer able to make the proactive plays. They're going to have to be reactive to what Momentum wants to do. Or sorry, what BBC wants to do. And right now, they're going to be in the opposite side of this, where they're going to be the ones that want to pause this game, or at least stall the momentum. and scale up. And really, your best bet is to get Fire and Ice and Torres in a spot where they're almost impossible to deal with. And Torres, like we stated earlier, infinitely scaling Dragon on that Aurelion Soul. Those abilities will become so big that they'll hit the entire team. They'll not mark out massive swaths of the map. But they have to be set up correctly. And I think something I've noticed, too, with Momentum over the last several fights is they haven't had all 5 there every time they've wanted to take a fight. To some degree, it's been piecemeal, going in 1s and 2s and not being able to get everything that they wanted. And Momentum just trying to fight to establish vision. They don't want any of these other major objectives to go down without a fight. It's going to be Baron in a minute. Inbred's really not afraid of Black Mage at all. Knows that he's in a stronger point. Got over 300 stacks on that Heartsteel. Ping's coming down. They want to see if they can get him, but this is very, very difficult. Sunny Waffle has the ability to do quite a bit of damage. Flash forward. Fletcher called down on top of him. Follow with the ultimate. Forces out Sunny's Sunny's flash as well. Smite on top of that. Ultimate from Caitlyn. What else can they get? But they don't get him at all. Slice and Dice doesn't actually confirm. Sunny gets ignited. Surely he drops here, but what else is it going to cost them? Meanwhile, on the bottom side, BBC, they're happy to make this play because they're sieging onto the bot lane turret. Torres can only siege so many minions. They're going to start to try and knock down this turret. Save the Fishes wants to get aggressive on top of Torres. Wants to knock this Aurelion Soul around to make sure that he can't stop them from taking the turret. As well, Starfall going to land. Emilio eliminated for now. Wave to buy a little bit of space to just continue to passively do damage onto the turret. Manages to grab the Realm Warp out. They get what they need, and they get out. 2 dead for the side of EBC, but 2 dead also for the side. Momentum. Trade of blows, and they walk away. Excuse me, I have to push the mic away. I'm going to sneeze. Sorry, had to sneeze. The BBC, something I think that's very important to note is they don't have the impunity to just do what they want right now. Yes, they have the momentum. They have the priority in the entirety of this map. But they're not free to do whatever they want just yet. They have a little while to go before they could truly just start to bully momentum around. It's different being able to set the pace. Okay, do momentum know that this dragon's happening? It's going to fall very, very fast. Ping's coming down. Momentum not responding to this just yet. The dragon in 22 seconds. Oh, do BBC, do they want to get aggressive for this? Yeah, they're going to take this Baron. Ping's immediately coming down to the dragon. They want to get greedy for both. They want both objectives. They want to even up this dragon score. They don't want momentum getting Dragon Soul. Momentum, everything could hinge on this fight potentially. They want to get the right pick. Huge gravity well, starting to put a lot of damage on top of Inbred Loser. Electra on the side, Starfall forces out a couple flashes. It's a fight on mixed fronts. Inbred wants to see what else he can do. Electra has slain Simple. What else can they get? The Corky down. 3, it's a double kill. Momentum, this might be the moment that they needed. Sunny Waffles just trying to see if he can save his support, and absolutely does. They made a Baron call, but somehow BBC, and a fight that was theirs, and an opportunity to clip both objectives, they fumbled it. This might be the end for Momentum. They want to make a decisive call on this. The respawn timers are so long, 30 seconds. They could absolutely end this game. They have the minions. They have the damage. They can just ignore the Mundo. He doesn't do enough damage to stop them. A fish and a chemically empowered man on drugs is not enough to stop Momentum from taking down these towers. They're just focusing them. Passing a little bit of damage to make sure they can knock down the Mundo. Final damage into the towers. The respawn timers, they're too long. Momentum on a decisive play. They break out of it, and they steal the first win of the series. Zeri also going to be taken off there. Big Bird keeping that ban fairly consistent. So there must be something over there on the side of Momentum that they definitely don't want to see again. So I'm going to take a moment and let this draft play out for a second. Alright, sorry, I had to take a brief second. Sorry being a one-man DevOps, people trying to message you all the time. So Lulu also going to be the takeaway there again from Big Bird Club, and then Victor also hitting the ban board. Zaheen and Bessa being stolen away from Big Bird Club. Syndra going to be hitting the mid lane. first Syndra that we've seen so far in this tournament. I say seen so far in this tournament because I don't know if some of the other games that were played off stream have had Syndra. Not that to the best of my knowledge, but this would be the first one that we have seen today. You, I, the viewer, us, we together, all of us have seen Syndra. And the natural answer to the Syndra going to be the Orianna. Interested to see if they will pair that with the Jarvan that so traditionally we see it with. I think would be a great combo, would set them up. Potentially dangerous though, because we haven't seen what Momentum wants to pick up as far as ADCs. We know that Syndra would be fairly immobile, so at least in the value there, Jarvan would give you a tremendous amount of value in being able to pick that champion, especially with the Orianna ball. Sivir, a little bit more dive composition, if you please. And a fairly good pick in the bot lane. Depends on what they'll scale it with, or pair it with, rather, as a support. I'm a big fan of Braum, Alistar, Nautilus. Things that can protect Sivir, set it up for the damage that she wants to shell out the entirety of the game. Of course, a slow starting champion as well, so it needs significant time to get going. And there's the Jarvan takeaway. Momentum accurately diagnosing that they, in fact, do not want the Wombo combo dive on top of their immobile mid laner. There are still other champions that the Orianna could go with. Jin Hao is another one that comes to mind. A fantastic champion as a ball delivery service. What will the final pick here be? Do they want to pick top lane or do they want to split the bot? And they do. They're going to pick Ashe, which opens up a huge number of support options there. And Big Bird, are they going to round out potentially their bot lane here, or do they want to go ahead and pick a jungler to answer for the Jarvan now that they kind of have an idea of what they're going to see there? I would say maybe picking a jungler here is not such a bad idea. But then maybe picking a support and saving some of those later picks might be bad. Skarner going to be the pickup there for Big Bird Club. They want to have a little bit of a dive capability. Skarner, a champion that I don't think you normally think about a great ball delivery system, but he is. His ability to grab multiple people, especially if you can shockwave them and then have Skarner ult them, or vice versa. I think it's great. So plenty of synergy there between those champions. Skarner, a champion that we haven't seen in a while, though, especially since the rework. Sona going to be the next takeaway for Big Bird, and they're going to be the Braum. They do not want to see the double Freljord in the bot side. They want to deny that Ashe any additional safety, and just naturally get rid of the natural Wombo combo that comes with that. So they want to force Momentum to try and pick something a little less synergistic, but there are still plenty of other options. Most importantly, Leona, which is another great champion. Seraphine going to be the selection there. So Seraphine Sivir in that bot side. Pairing this Ashe, any hooking champion would be fine. Thresh, Pyke, Leona, Nautilus would be great. If you wanted to go something a little bit more healy, you could go something like Karma. That I don't think necessarily goes the best with Ashe. You could pick Alistar, which is great. Gives you great engage, gives you great tankiness. Let's see what they want to go with. Oh, and instead they're going to go completely the opposite way. They're going to go an Enchanter. They're going to grab Janna. I think, unnatural counter to Seraphine, or at least the unnatural counter to a potential dive. Although I don't know how well that helps you against a Shockwave. But obviously these guys think through their drafts before they start putting them together. Teams like Momentum and Big Bird, they have like really good ideas on how they want to draft compositions and what their overall intention is. And speaking of intention, Ornn and the ornaments that he brings with him will definitely help them execute on that. But obviously opening up the counter side pick, the Gnar, the champion that was banned in the last series, or in the last game, that made it through to this one. It gives you plenty of team fighting, gives you situational tankiness. Momentum, 1-0 in this series on match point. The BBC, they had an opportunity to bring that back in the last game, and they just overforced it, trying to end the game maybe a little bit earlier than they could. But you got to respect the effort, got to respect the intention. As these guys are going to make their way out onto the rift.
Minions have spawned.
So I'm going to momentarily try and relax and see if I can have a moment to breathe, because these teams are so bloody and so aggressive. Out here we see on the rift a control ward. Sorry, not a control. A pink ward. Not a pink ward. A normal ward placed in the river. Yes. They can see one another and they know what the junglers are. Nature is so wonderful here on the rivers. The minions try and kill each other. The champions there to collect the gold from their corpses. On a more serious note, though. On a more serious note, yeah, Chicken Thuggy and Sunny Waffle should have really not too much trouble trying to push this out. That initial wave state will kind of dictate how they go. It's interesting that they're already getting pushed off, though, by the Ashe. So, of course, I'm going to be made instantly to look like a liar by the team that has decided they want the opposite of how that matchup is supposed to go. Even though I specifically requested that they have priority in the lane. Somehow I'm not getting that. Syphil already burning one of the pots, trying to maintain advantage in that mid lane. Syndra, obviously a little bit slower to start. Orianna, once she reaches level 2, has quite a bit of priority in that lane. And Fire Knight and Yushi doing a really good job to zone BBC's bot lane off of that experience and that gold. Iron Ice is getting really aggressive. Does not even remotely care that he's taking damage. I'm interested to see when these junglers are going to get involved. BBC, they've already got knowledge on where the Jarvan is, so they know he's going to be starting that Raptors off. That ward down there giving him very good vision is the same as being said. Well, rather not being said for, say, the Fishes on that Skarner. They'll both roughly have the same kind of clear speed, so really neither one's going to have an advantage. They'll look to probably double rotate through the camps. Ooh, Torres. I still scared of the lead. We should see whether or not this top lane gets explosive again. That's been the main matchup for, I think, both of these teams in their series, kind of from what I was told. For Momentum's series was how aggressively, that got on the top side, but also like BBC. Like that's how they like to play in that top side. They'd be very aggressive, getting leads. And Brett wants to make his mark on the game, wants to get early advantage, wants to push his opponent underneath the tower and drag priority. But of course, the main problem with that, though, has been the amount of jungle attention that has invited. And there have been times where he's not really responded to that super well. And so we'll have to see what they want to do. Meanwhile, though, no jungler's really waiting here. Black Mage's not under too much pressure. Do they want to gank this? No, he's just going to take the little ride through the terrain and make his way toward the river. And it will just be a trade of scuttle crabs. BBC, though, right now, kind of flipping the momentum on its side and pushing in towards their opponents and getting the lane shoved in. And Syphil did a pretty good job holding this wave hostage. Torres really not safe to step up to this. I don't know how much information he's going to have with Save the Fish is kind of waiting there, but it's really not that much to just do the final damage. Torres dropping really, really low. Needs to back here soon before he risks getting full comboed. And it's Syphil doing a really good job keeping Torres under control. More than a 10 CS difference already. Inbred. That was a little aggressive to try and stop that. Honestly, I think Inbred, you probably just let him go. Yeah, because you're going to get the teleport, and the wave's going to be in a decent spot. You can shove into a turret. I don't think it was really worth to stop the back there. It would probably been better to just go let Black Mage by, and then just, potentially look to reset yourself and deny some of the minions. Because you can shove this in a turret. Electra here, though. Flag and drag available. Ooh, Inbred's already lost the majority of himself. Flash out. Ooh, and a great response. Electra tried to follow up even further, but the bounce and the hop away from Inbred. He knew that was coming. Fantastic play. Spot on. I mean, that's how close some of these interactions are, and that's how good these players are. Microsecond decision. Knew that the Jarvan was going to follow up with the flash. Hell of a play. Hell of a reaction time. I couldn't do that. And now that push that we saw, that I was talking about from Chicken Thuggy. What a great name, by the way. Oh, Torres. Yeah, you should have backed, buddy. And you're going to pay for it now. First blood. Over to Syphil. I keep... There's not a... He told me to say this earlier, and I forgot it, but I think it's Syphil. Chicken Thuggy doing a little damage. But, yeah, Torres just not being respectful of the fact that his health wasn't in a great spot. Oh. Syphil, though, might be the next one to pay. Does have access to the shockwave. Doesn't need it right now. They're just going to walk out. Ooh, Fire and Ice just getting absolutely torn up down there. But important to remember, this is how the first game started. Bot side for BBC getting really good advantages. Early trading going their way, but then momentum's slowly starting to kind of pull things back. Topsy-turvy game. But the pressure that we were talking about between Chicken Thug and Sunny Waffle, we're starting to see that, the priority that they have. Although eating 2 turret shots does not a successful play make. So you'd like to avoid having that happen. But Save the Fishes, he's going to go ahead and pick up at that early drag. Electra, meanwhile, trying to steal away some of these camps. And Brett should just go ahead and take them and finish off so that the camp isn't super delayed in respawning. So early drag, early prio across the majority of the lanes. It's going to feel good for BBC. And I think they want to keep this game as calm as possible. They want to just, I think, have additional time to rest after that first game, recoup, think about how they want to win this one. It's a very, very clear game plan, though. Goes to Mega. Not really a whole lot going on right now. Wants to see if he can get the toss back. It's the boulder, but Blackmage goes unstoppable. There's another toss again. Horn. Oh, he doesn't get to do it. He gets stunned up underneath there. Inbred gets the 1v1 kill. Fantastic job. It looks like maybe for a minute Blackmage is going to make that work. But the Gnar getting it done. We're going to see that play again since we've got plenty of time to show the replay, and I like abusing this function. So it just kind of starts passively. Inbred just slowly landing the boomerangs, you know, through the unstoppable. He isn't worried about getting knocked up. Does take a little bit of damage there, but then fully stacks the rage, goes into Mega, and starts stacking the abilities. Slam, jump forward, boulder toss. Gets ahead of him just to be able to get through the throw to the wall. Manages to stop the Ornhorn, but that stun lasted so long he wasn't able to recast it. And I mean, just a fantastic 1v1 play. And Inbred starting to show what he was able to do in that first series against Baggy Pampers. And ping's going down. Grubs coming in about 5 seconds. Either team would like to get them, but I think this is likely just to go to Save the Fishes. He's likely to be able to get this one. They have the priority both in mid lane and the top lane, so really not conceivable that Electra or Jarvan right now would be able to contest that. But you never know. Anything is possible. Very nice. Wants to get a little bit more aggressive trading. As the Q stacked, they will start putting damage into either of these members. Not sure where that was going, but Save the Fishes, though. He's going to start the grubs. Kind of just stock standard. He's going to collect all those. Be happy to get the loot. Already have 2,000 gold lead getting stacked by BBC right now, and they're going to start to make that really hurt as they get out of these laning phases and start to look for some more of these skirmishes, some of these 2v2s. Blackmage just kind of on pain duty. Just it's kind of his responsibility is Norn to just sit there and eat the damage that's being thrown his way. It's gonna be a while before he gets strong. Already has the Thornmail. Or sorry, Thornmail already has the Bramble Vest. Ooh, great play into the mid side. Torres just gonna go down. Sifil's gonna be donated the kill. Ash Arrow just goes wide. Not sure what Extra wants to do. Flag and drag for not a whole lot. More than 2.5k gold lead now. BBC starting to run away with this a little bit. So I'll just let you enjoy the nice soothing sounds of the Rift for a moment. Because this game is so much more polite than the first one. Like, it's kind of just been dominance from BBC the whole time. They've been fairly aggressive in their laning. They've had great ganks. I mean, there's all the checklist things that you would want them to do so far they've done. And they've avoided really giving anything else. Blackmage's not going to land the knock up there, and he's just going to continue to get bullied by this Gnar that has absolutely no sympathy for him. Blackmage, you're going to have to blow this flash at some point. And will it be soon? Amber Loser are perfectly happy to just punish this Ornn for being Ornn. These are the sounds of the Rift. The lucid tones of Jungle Priest being killed, and of Sunny Waffle having to blow his flash. This is not where he wants to be. Seraphine double ulti. Now they can look to turn this. Double stun on top of that. Alright. Sprawls out the monsoon. This is multiple teleports being committed here. Extra trying to go on the backside of this. Inbred Loser kills the Ash. Now what else can they get? Ornhorn on top of one. Black Mage wants to try and trade for something. Doesn't get the knockup. One more ult auto might do it. Double kill for Inbred Loser on the backside. Black Mage's not able to get anything though. Gets rooted up. He's dead. It's 3 dead for the side of Momentum. A killing spree for Inbred Loser. 3-0 on the backside of that. And, yeah, Civil going to be very, very happy with that. That was a massive overcommit there from the side of Momentum trying to get something going. And now they're not going to lose kills, they're going to lose turret plates, and they're going to lose a dragon. And this is kind of the opposite of what we saw early in the last game. BBC's early game was good in that first game. But they just kind of started to lose their grips on it a little bit. Most importantly, this kill's going exactly where you want it to, except maybe Ash getting a couple more, that'd be nice, but all that money going on top of the Gnar and on top of the Orianna, those are your big playmakers there. So you're happy to see that gold get donated to them. Most importantly, no sub kills, which is, you know, if you're a damage dealer, you're wondering why the sub's taking kills. I personally support, I like taking the kills as a support. Like, I don't know, the gold is just as good in my pocket as it is yours. Black Mage is considering something here, but he is a 2-level disadvantage, and that Gnar is stacking a Rage Bar. Now, that's not the fight you want to take. And yeah, he's going to recognize that and get the hell out of dodge. Get underneath his turret. 6 unanswered kills here for the side of BBC. A 4.5k gold lead at 12 minutes. That is a massive effort for them, and well done by them. Just because they've been clean. They've been clean this game. And they really no missteps. They've carefully played to all their conditions right now. Hard to be upset about that. The Torres just going to be forced to flash there. One more auto would have done it. So he's going to walk out. Flag drag from Jarvan. Doesn't accomplish a whole lot. So we talked a lot about BBC and Momentum. What's their way into this game? Well, you got the scaling factor. Black Mage eventually will start to provide you with ornaments, but that is a long way away from now. Ector will eventually become pseudo-tanky and do damage to the squishies, but that is also a long way away. Torres has completed an item. Has completed the Luden's Echo, but that being meaningful is going to be a minute. Good Monsoon to knock away the Skarner to prevent the ultimate grab. Now Ector is healed. Health bar still good for the side of BBC. Do they want to get Waffle, though? Wants to try and Cataclysm on top of that. They also want to avoid the ult that goes wide, but Save the Fishes is so tanky that he can just kind of shrug that off. Extra flag drag does get the Cataclysm on a Sunny Waffle, but is there the follow-up? Ash trying to do something, but no. Dies to the smite, and now Save the Fish is just going to pin the Jarvan onto the wall underneath the turret. 2 kills again on a fight that Momentum tried to pick. Gets turned against them. 2 dead. Even more gold into the pockets of the members of BBC, especially on that bot side. Weren't able to get Sunny Waffle and get massively punished for it. You want to call it game over, but this game has looked so clean from BBC right now that we may be going to a game 3. We may be listening to Silver Scrapes, folks. Oh, Save the Fish is not done. Just wants to put Torres under even further pressure. No smite on that mid laner. If he was even a little bit more too far forward, would have absolutely been food for the fishes. See what I did there? Save the Fish's food for... No, chat. No, okay. All right. No more jokes. Since chat doesn't appreciate my jokes. All right, fine. For Momentum, I mean, you're starting to put yourself in a really bad hole that you might be able to climb out of because you've drafted yourself a scaling comp that relies very heavily on Black Mage on that Ornn, getting those ornaments out, but he's been severely reduced in his ability to farm. I mean, he is more than 30 CS down. It's almost 40 at this point. He's permanently stuck under tower, can't do anything to respond to this Gnar. He's down 2 levels. I mean, Gnar hasn't even backed in a while to go buy an item. He has plenty of standing gold in that inventory. And Save the Fishes, he's just going to grab Fire and Ice again. Nowhere to go. No flash. No barrier. Well, it does have barrier. Pops it now. It's not going to be able to get anything. It looked close there for a second. Like maybe he trade one for one, but the damage just too good. Meanwhile, on the top side, BBC just can't stop winning for winning. Going to start proxy farm. He's so far ahead that he can, in the face of everybody that potentially might be a bit... Oh, Electra. Nope. Yeah, goodbye, Sweet Prince. He's dead. That's not your part of the map. So Phil wants to see what he can get. Oh, that's the Shockwave. Manages to grab one. Save the Fish is not able to grab anybody else. Seraphine ult on top of the top. Manages to grab one. Monsoon gives him an easy exit. Meanwhile, on the top side, non-stop action. Inbred loser. He's got Black Mage between a hard and a rock place. That turret is gone. He now has the ability to continue to fight. Goes into the Megas. Phil, what can he do? Get out of there. You don't want to get stuck there. Inbred loser still pouring damage into this Ornn. Misses the boulder. Still landing atop the stat. Gets a smash. Meganar running out, though, so he's just going to walk out, but does a tremendous amount of damage to Black Mage's health. Sets his jungler up to get the Herald, and it is all winning all objectives for BBC. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an 8K gold lead at 16 minutes. I'm going to say that again. It's an 8K gold lead at 16 minutes. That means that if you divide the time in this game that there is by 8, that's how much gold in a lead that they have. There have been no objectives even answered here by Momentum. That is how hard they're getting shot out of this game. They don't own their jungle. They're down 2 drags. They've lost the Herald. Or, they've lost the Herald. They've lost the Grubs. They're about to lose this Dragon. And unless they can find a way to massively stall this game, they're going to lose the game. And not to put too fine a point on it, but the position that BBC are in right now cannot be understated. There's really nothing Momentum can do here to stop this from happening. They are absolutely in control of this game. They pulled out the Dragon to prevent anybody from being able to steal it. Black Mage wants to see if they can make something happen. If they can kill Sunny Waffles, this would be huge. The knockup gonna miss as he flashes out of it. That's the Hex Drake slain, and now the Hex Drake slain, and now Black Mage is on the wrong side of this equation. Inbred loser going to hop forward, going to flash forward to make sure he gets the kill, and now they're going to be able to cut off 2 more minutes. They're not able to really stop Inbred from doing anything. The Tornado going to buy just a little bit of space, but he's the next to fall. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Sifil going to make sure that he gets something flash forward. They want to get absolutely everything. Ult's going to go wide. Inbred eats a turret shot, and they almost get 4 members there, almost 5. The only person that is left alive in this entire game is Yushi. And this Janna is just sitting there like that picture of the taxidermied monkey with the hands at his side going, well, what do you want me to do? Absolutely nothing is the answer right now. They're going to crack this base prior to 20 minutes, which I think might potentially be a mistake, because if that spawns the super minions, that would start to just inject gold into Momentum. But honestly, if you're BBC right now, I'm not sure that they particularly care, because they are so far ahead. And so far in this game, this has been a masterclass in delivering on draft expectations. And right now, if I was a betting man, I would bet that we're going to Game 3 and we're getting silver scrapes. And I think that this speaks a lot to BBC's mental as well, knowing that they lost a super close game. And that could have been theirs. They made a mistake. And a lot of other teams, they would have been kind of down after that one, feeling that, well, the second game's basically a foregone conclusion and we'll have to go into the lower bracket. But nope, not BBC. They're very, very happy to rally and get back in the swing of things. And it'd be interesting to see what Game 3 would look like and what that draft would entail and how those teams would approach that one, because this is just an unmitigated masterclass. So far, it's flawless. About the only thing that Momentum has had going right now is that they have 4 turret plates. Meanwhile, BBC got 24. That's 20 more than Momentum got. Streamer math. Sunny. Ooh, now this might be the one. Ultimate, not going to do it. Tops the barrier and manages to get out. Didn't have flash to burn. Actually, I didn't have barrier. What was that? I guess it was the passive shielding. Interesting. Uh-oh. Torres might be in trouble. Flash to flash out, but now Sifil is here. Teleported straight back in. Wants to return the favor. That's going to be the shockwave. Gets him. Throws the Q. Ash arrow. Just to do a whole lot of nothing. Chicken Thuggy going to be stunned there for just a little while. And 15 unanswered kills. And it's hard to make this moment more exciting right now. It's okay, potential something here. Extra wants to get something going. Sifil's legendary. He's trying to do something on this back line, but Extra's just not able to get anything done. Meanwhile, Ornhorn going to potentially be thrown to, I don't know, try and tickle somebody. Black Mage is just left on his lonesome to sit here and hope that he doesn't get dived in any turret. Forced to flash out. Didn't want to get caught by the Skarner. This mid turret is going to be the next thing to go. 2 minutes to Dragon. Baron is absolutely on the cards for BBC. This is just a controlled masterclass. It's 13K gold lead. And while money's not the most important thing in the world, it sure hurts. It sure hurts like hell when you don't have any. BBC, they are just swimming in gold. There is more than 1,000 gold lead on every single member of BBC right now. That is how dominant they have been playing in the second game. And I think a true testament to how skillful they really are. And I would have loved to have seen... would love to have seen how Momentum played in that one, in their first series. And maybe what BBC was able to learn from any of what they heard, if they heard anything about that series. But even the Seraphine has more than 1.5k gold. It's a lot of money. You know how well you have to be doing for your support to have the gold rimmed glasses? You gotta be swimming in money. That's how good you gotta be doing. For Momentum, I'm really not sure how they get back in this game. They've been choked out of every part of the map. They're tracked everywhere they want to go. Every time they walk through a bush and proper scryers, they're seeing wards littered throughout their jungles. Every play they want to potentially set up has been tracked. They haven't even been able to do anything proactive because of how often they've been dead. Safil's here. Gnar waiting in the wings. They can absolutely out-pressure Fire and Ice and Yushi. Or sorry, Fire and Ice and Ektra. So they're just going to have to walk out of this one. Drag spawning in about 30 seconds. This is going to be the Hex Tech Soul. The gate's going to be used. People getting caught. That's going to be the back, so no one's going to get caught there other than Fire and Ice, who really can't get away from this one, has no summoners, is just going to be the sacrificial lamb. Wanted to try and get a couple minions with him, but won't even be able to get much of that. And now it's Dragon Party time. $33 plates. That's so much plate gold. I mean, that's where so much of that information, that money has come from, in addition to the kills that have been spread across. These score lines look good. Ornn have to get really not a whole lot of anything. Inbred loser on the side. Gets the Mega Gnar, jumping forward, Ektra. Able to buy a little space. Yushi lands the tornado to just dissuade them from anything, but there's really no chance they're going to get this. Taurus on the top side, they're not even 5 strong. Ektra can look to try and flag and drag over the pit and see if he can steal something, but that would be tremendously difficult. And I think they just had to consign themselves to realizing that they're going to have to let this dragon go. Watch this tornado steal it. Nope. Nice smite. No potential tornado steal at all. BBC, they maintain absolute control of every objective. Flawless game so far. Question is now, can they protect that flawless game status? I think they shouldn't be too concerned and try and protect it. Like, don't be scared of dying. But also, I mean, what a feather in their cap that would be to go through a series, have a game in a series where you don't die at all. And the positioning towards Baron. They're going to push out this topside wave. They're going to send somebody to respond to that. Like, they're going to be Sunny Waffle. They'll kill out those minions, push the wave. Again, they don't have an answer for Gnar right now. He's just going to continue to pressure towards that bottom side. Threaten the potential inhibitor. You can only respond to one, not both. It's going to take multiple people to go get that Gnar. And I think that Momentum, they know that this Baron is happening, but I think that they're reticent to try and do anything about it because of the position it would put them in. They're just not in a state to do anything. They have a while to go. It's also a 3-level lead between Save the Fishes and Ektra. I mean, that is a masterclass at farming and being effective at team fighting. And I mean, Gnar didn't even have to leave the bot side. That's how effective that they've been in controlling the map. It's the threat they have. They're going to do a really quick reset. Ektra spots out Gnar here. That's the Ash Arrow. He did manage to get the jump away, but teleports. He's living for a long time. This damage is not quick. He's still managing to live. He's going to go into the mini Gnar. Manages to live so far, turning the damage. He finally dies. Shutdown goes over to Black Mage, but it cost them a whole lot. And now Sifil is going to be able to trade this damage over to Black Mage. One more Q would do it. Triple kill for the BBC mid laner in the bot side. Top side under siege. It cost them basically nothing to kill 3 members of Momentum. This might be the end of the game. They have Baron powered minions. They've got plenty to work with. They can keep them healthy. They're just going to pour the damage into these turrets. Eventually, Sifil will manage to catch that wave up. He can not teleport. He'll have to walk out. They may just be content to get the inhibitor here because the respawn timers are a little bit shorter right now. So even though the call could have been to end the game, they're just going to be happy with what they got. They're going to exit stage right and look to go over towards this mid tower. They're kind of in a weird spot. Not sure where they chose to go that way. Also, the ult thrown out from Chicken Thuggy. A little bit hopeful there. Ektra, Save the Fishes, wants to fight, marches the flash out, not going to get the impale. Now they're just going to continue to slowly They're going to continue slowly running the siege. Double kill. What do you do? What do you do against Sifil on that Orianna? A masterclass. Give him the Penta. Give him the Penta. Let him get the $20. Run Black Mage down. You got to get that money. You got to make sure that Oriana gets it. Make it the first pentakill of the game. It's a pentakill for Sifil. And now Huli owes him $20. Well done to the BBC mid laner. They tie this series up. They're going to end the game right here, right now. No match win for Momentum yet. It's an even series. The finishing touches on this game, a masterclass for BBC the whole time. One single solitary kill, and it ends with an 18k gold lead and a chance for silver scrapes. I'm just gonna let the bands play out for a minute because I need a minute to recover. These guys, they're ready, rearing to go, but I'm heaving for breath. I'm trying to catch up because these guys have been playing absolutely out of their minds all day long. Okay, alrighty. Alright, so Zyra being locked in for Momentum. Well, only one place that can go. The response from Big Bird Club is going to go ahead and grab that Varus, who was adjusted a little bit in the patch notes, but that was only just to affect his lethality build. Other than that, he's still a pretty good ADC. And I like the pickup there. It gives them not only straight damage, but also just extra CC. Doesn't have a lot of defensive tools as far as getting out, other than having summoners that allow that, like Ghost and Flash, but I think it's still a very good pickup. And I like Varus just in general, most team comps. I think there's very few instances where he doesn't work. And then Nico going to be the pickup there. Jhin, for the side of Momentum. How do they want to play him? What do they want to pair him with? A number of really good champions to put him with. Zillion is one of my favorites that comes to mind. That is a very, very lethal combo. And like, if that isn't Nico support for whatever reason, it would be a pretty good matchup for it. Instead, they're going to lock into Mordekaiser. This Mordekaiser that has seen a bunch of bans this tournament. It's going to get locked in. Momentum want to lock in a little bit of safety. Black Mage wants to have that for himself. Interesting Aatrox pick, the Mordekaiser. Not sure how I feel about that. The Aatrox is fairly good in team fighting, but he's going to get locked down by Mordekaiser quite a bit. It's an aggressive pick, though. And Red Lizard, I think, has an idea of how he wants to play this champion, and what kind of effect he wants to have in the game. So we'll see what other bans come through to target that. Potentially, this is the top and bot sides of both teams locked in terms of... Well, for Momentum, it is for sure, but for Big Bird... Technically, the Nico could flex to the jungle, but I'd be very surprised to see it there. It's just Fate once again going to be taken off the board. Malphite to follow. So sorry, to break the immersion a little bit here, I guess behind the curtain, I am frantically trying to eat a snack that I have not eaten all day. Ooh, Silas. This was one of the champions I wanted to see earlier in the tournament. It got banned. I think that's very exciting, given the ultimates that are available. I'd be interested to see Silas steal the Mordekaiser ult and how that would work. Final bans come through. It's going to be... Ooh. Where is that Mordekaiser going now? Jace mid lane, perhaps. Into the Silas, it wouldn't be that bad. Oh! Okay, this is Zyra jungle. Interesting. Alright, so this is the Zyra jungle angle. Soraka as a support. So does that mean it could be Nico jungle? And ladies and gentlemen, we are on to the rift for what is going to be the final game of this other upper bracket run. One of these teams is going straight to the finals. The other team is going to the lower bracket. They're going to have to make a run out. It's another competitive team. We don't yet know how the BP versus Team Q series has gone yet. We'll get an update for you on that soon. I'm sure someone will send me that message. This is game 3. This is for all the marbles. You want to go straight into that finals if you absolutely can. Saves you a lot of headache, a lot of heartache. So the Silas jungle, I think, is very interesting, and I think a decent pick into the Zyra as well. Sorry, is any Umi mage on mage action, I think, is. As your eyes deceive you, there appear to be 2 Varises on the screen. Ooh, nice root onto the Raka. They want to try and damage that Raka as much as possible to prevent the effective healing. This top lane matchup I'm very, very interested in. That Aatrox versus Mord fight, I think how that goes will maybe determine the output of this game. And both have great trading. Aatrox with the reset Qs, and then obviously Mordekaiser with the passive damage. So full. Ooh. Eats a Torres. Needs to be very careful. Phil would like to get that one. A flash and a Q would do it. Oh, couple autos not able to do it, but forces out the flash from the Jace as well. And Brent gonna start to try and stack this wave on that top side. And kind of do what he did in that other one, which is freeze out Black Mage. For being able to effectively farm, put him even further behind as he can. Those Qs in that chain. Hard combo to fight against. The ganking opportunities for Silas, to me, is very, very interesting, because we don't get to see Silas jungle all that often, just because of the prio picks that exist, like within pro play and even like collegiate play, where so much emphasis is put on things like Graves and Xin Zhao and Zahin, and Jarvan and Sejuani and the like. You very rarely get to see mage on mage, well, I guess if you can call Silas a mage, but you very rarely get to see mage on mage jungling. But particularly with Zyra, who for a lot of people is kind of a cult classic, like a cult favorite, just because the opportunities that she opens up for objective taking, and especially particularly when there used to be way more grubs. Fire and Ice doing a pretty good job landing his passive. Wants to land that 4-shot, forces the healing out. Fire and Ice first to blow his healing. Get it pushed underneath that turret. It's gonna be a recall. Very aggressive fighting on that bot side. Someone's forced out. Ooh, the Deadly Flourish just happens to miss. So manages to get the recall off. Chicken Thuggies just wants to passively kind of farm up a little bit. Doesn't want to mess with the wave too much, but also doesn't want to let that gold go to waste. Extra. Doesn't land the root binding, but it does let Sifil know that he's there. Sometimes it's more important to just let the mid laner know that you could. You don't even have to do it sometimes. Just let them know, hey, I could CC you. So you better be careful. You better play some wards where you can see me, because I'm going to get you if you don't. Black Mage is going to continue to try and survive in this lane. It's going to be difficult for him. He's already getting chunked out fairly effectively by Inbred, and not really having much luck in getting access to the minions. And Inbred wants to keep that up as much as possible. I'm not sure really, from an opinion-wise, I'm not sure really which one of them you would say scales better. Aatrox is always one of those champions that, even in a late-game situation, even when he's got full items and he hasn't, you know, had any significant reinvestment, he's just one of those champions that can absolutely decimate your back line. It can be very difficult to deal with. Oh, that full combo. But at the same token, Mordecai is one of those champions that is massively oppressive in any 1v1 situation. And as long as he's not massively down, like as long as he's able to get his, first item within a reasonable level of completion, he's going to be effective. Torres wants to try and get out of here. He blew the flash earlier. The chains are going to connect. And that ultimately is going to be donated over to save the fishes. And pings to clear the vision and go straight to drag. Makes a lot of sense. Black Mage's going to get pulled in. Gets queued. Pops the passive healing. Wants to try and stack his passive, but not able to do so. Inbred, by the way, this is very important. And I think, kudos to Inbred. His sidestepping on a lot of these Qs and stuff like that has been very, very good in terms of avoiding letting Black Mage stack his passive that might otherwise lose him a passive trade. And that's, for him, I think it's an individual masterclass on movement and positioning. He's done a really good job of it, and it's impressive. Yeah, Black Mage is going to get back, grabbed in. But now this is where you have to be careful, Zimbred, because you don't want to get ulted in the wrong spot. And as aggressive as you might want to get under tower, just know that getting grabbed by a Mord underneath this turret is a death sentence. So, and obviously, QSS doesn't even help you with that anymore. A bad change, Riot. Change it back. If Malzahar can be ulted, or Malzahar ult can be QSS'd, then Mord ult should also be QSS'd. That's a hill I'm willing to die on. QSS works on my Malzahar, then QSS should work on Mord. Fight on multiple fronts though. Torres just trying to get the full combo. The camera wig it out, not sure where it wants to go. Up, down, left, right. Play the hokey pokey and turn it all around. Because this one, it's all about Electra just trying to passively land his damage, save the fishes, getting hit by the jungler. And who should appear but the Jace. And I think everybody wants to agree that maybe we'll just approach this dragon at a later date, except for Electra, who would like to take it. The BBC would like to not have to give this objective over, but they may not be given a choice. And yeah, the health bar's just too low. They're going to wave it off and say, we're not going to risk the game here. You can't win the game off this play, but you most certainly could lose it. And Momentum, they're going to be very, very happy to grab that first Cloud Drake. And already, a little bit more of a departure than the last game. Yes. Oh, Change of Corruption going to land. Sunny Waffle slays Yushi. That's the second kill. Sunny going to be happy to have that. One for him, and one for the jungler. Inbred. And that ult needs to be careful. Got pulled under. But there's really nothing he could do right now. He popped his Ascension, and Black Mage popped ult, and they've just agreed to part ways. But that CS difference, though, that CS is growing. 47 to 70. Almost 30 difference. Meanwhile, Sifil also just pushing to get turret plates. And this is more the same of what we saw in the second game. BBC just doing a really, really good job in applying pressure everywhere across the map. They haven't been caught out really by anything. And this is exactly how that first game started. 2.2k gold lead. Almost 8 minutes into the game. Chicken Thuggy. Oh, doesn't land the root. That was going to be the easy play there. If Sifil to come over and land the charm. But it's just going to be forced to go underneath the turret. Torres really struggling right now. So much pressure in his lane. So many people walking through there. Grubs potentially on the menu here. Inbred pinging down. 4 strong on this top side. Save the Fish is going to grab that one. Inbred doesn't get the chains, but manages to force out the Zyra. Now they can look to make their way back here. It's still 4v3. Torres. All right, let's 4v4. Torres. Let's get something done. That's going to be the root. Face down. Going down Electra. Ticking, ticking, ticking. Smite not enough. Sifil manages to get on top of the... oh, I'm tongue-tied. Manages to get on top of the Soraka. Going to be the first to fall. Sifil taking next, though. Black Mage has his passive stack. Inbred loser. What can he get done? Trying to land the Q, but just passively ticking, but not dying. He's managing to get the survivability that he needs. Electra the next to go. Torres. Let's see what else he can get. It's a double kill there, but people dying left and right. Ultimately, it's all for nothing. The Grubs, the 2 remaining ones, still are there. A lot of fighting back and forth. It was a split call to some degree. I think both sides didn't really know who they wanted to go on. But already Momentum in a much better spot than they were in this last game. Negligible gold lead now, 4 to 5 kills. They didn't even have 1 the whole last game. Now they've got 4. So 100% improvement. Extra. Gonna try and make his way back towards those Grubs, but is automatically gonna get spotted by the Silas. And we'll have first access to that. We'll save the fishes. But I think if you're BBC, I think you're fine with the way this game is going right now. You're not particularly in a rush. You're not really losing all that much. Black Mage pulls in Bread in the ult. Ectra's here. What's going to get done? Black Mage can just kind of make his way out of here. And Bread, though, might have been a little caught up. Got a little bit more than he could chew. Ectra's going to take that one. I would like to see that gold go over to the into the Mordekaiser, but you'll be happy just to get it and stop this Aatrox from being as aggressive as he is. Torres, though, on top of Save the Fish, just wants to try and get out of here. Sifo over the top. Torres gets the kill. Gets charmed. Wants to get out of here. Not sure where the members are going because Jhin and Soraka not showing. Gets healed up by the Soraka and ultimately walks out worse for wear, but gets to walk out, which is more than some of the members of BBC can say.
Now that is what I want to see.
Rare moment of quiet on the rift. Even as I say that, Yushi lands a Q. Or not, rather, Yushi. Chicken Thuggy lands a Q. And the piece is disrupted. And then a wild tree appeared in the brush, and now the piece has also been disrupted. Next, just getting constantly spotted on vision. Not really able to do too much right now. Oh, Chicken Thuggy manages to flash forward, gets the root onto one and the stun. Fire and Ice dead. Play by BBC goes their way. Ectra really not allowed to do a whole much right now. Sunny Waffle on the brink of death's going to have to get the hell out of dodge. And Torres with a long range Q doesn't get anything. Ectra puts the ultimate down. Chicken Thuggies kind of needs to walk out of here and be very, very careful. Torres slowly getting stunned up. That's going to be the root in place. Save the Fishes, though, still healing. Still not down. Finally falls. It's a Phil. Wants to get Yushi if he can. Chicken Thuggy trying to find his way out of there. Black Mage is joining the fight now, though. Is immediately going to ult the Ahri. Not able to really get anything going right now. Ectra trying to find the avenue to cut off the escape. Gets grabbed. Ectra gets the kill and is on a killing spree. Second drag available for momentum. It's sloppy, it's not clean, it's dirty, but it's still working. Meanwhile, top side though, Inbred Loser doing a lot of damage to the turret, had a lot of alone time. Some soft jazz and a candlelit dinner up there, and he's going to be walking away with some sweet gold. So the turret's going to fall down. So first, major structural objective down for BBC. I'll be happy to walk away with that one for a moment. The thing I want to see from Momentum right now is I want to see them get Black Mage a little bit more involved in some of these team fights. I think the more that they can involve the Mordekaiser, the more farm they can get him, the more gold they can get on that champion, the better off that they're going to be. And just having that threat at all times is going to be huge for them. Oh, gets knocked back. See, the Fish just wanted to be a little bit aggressive and get forward, but Torres just out of range of the chain, and the Hextech Proto Belt didn't get him nearly close enough. He's coming down. Everybody's spotted on vision right now, so it's hard to be proactive with any of these plays. Just everyone's tracking everybody. Sifil doing a pretty good job and putting quite a bit of damage here. Ectra winning over the wings. To Save the Fishes know that he's there. Ultimate going to come down. Plus the wish. Ectra on a rampage. The Zyra absolutely a threat right now. A menace to society. And Ectra's just doing a really, really good job to keep... Ooh, nice step on the chains. Save the Fishes. What can he do? Doesn't have access to ultimate right now. Chains of Corruption miss. Ping's aggressively coming down. Here comes the Mordekaiser. Save the Fishes was rooted. Is still passively burning. What else do they want to do? The Mordekaiser wants to insert himself into this equation. Save the Fishes. Very low health. This is the curtain call. Is going to just drive them straight towards the Mordekaiser. Or would have, rather, if he was still there. Oh, Chicken Thuggies. With the ultimate, Black Mage going to grab him. Thinking Chicken Thuggy is trying to walk forward. Is going to hit him with the auto. And Sunny Waffle not out of this yet. Wants to see if he can grab the Varus. No, not able to. He's going to retreat underneath the turret. Torres, meanwhile, on the mid side, mid lane, sorry, just trying to deal with Inbred Loser. And this Aatrox. This Aatrox has been silent for a little while. 0-2 and 2, hasn't had much involvement with the game, hasn't had a chance to get any kills. Is rotating through there, but Momentum know that he's coming. Shouldn't be too much of an issue for them to just walk out. Everyone's going to agree to part ways. Dragon is spawning in about 2 minutes and 20 seconds, so a bit of time before that object is available for anybody to take. Chicken Thuggy just trying to be proactive, clearing some of this vision, placing some of his own. Black Mage sees this recall. He doesn't have flash. Sunny still walked out of it. Oh no! He could have just backed, but decided he wanted to get a little bit more aggressive. Black Mage is going to the flash, won't have a second chance to get the grab, but that's all you care about. You don't even care if you didn't get the kill. I mean, actually, that's not true. If you're Black Mage, you would have liked to got the kill there, but you'll settle for getting the flash, which will make that Varus super, super vulnerable in any potential team fight coming up. And we're to the point now where the lane assignments have kind of been discarded. Sonic, he's going to try and clear the wave away from his tower and look to get a reset. Someone's going to need to respond to the Aatrox on top side. Yushi gets chained underneath the turret. Save the Fish is not able to get the Mordekaiser ult off. And will instead have to walk away. Deadly Flourish lands one charm. Yushi dies to the Ahri. That's an opportunity. Now can they look to dive the Jhin? Aatrox trying to wrap around. This minion wave getting pulled a little bit farther away, so he won't have the benefit of that to protect them. Full Jazzes forward, trying to land the charm. Chains also miss. Everybody's missing a lot of stuff, but the damage is just so good that they get him anyway. Save the Fish just walks out from underneath the tower. They didn't even need the Aatrox. BBC slowly trying to rebuild that lead that they had for a little while. They're going to get their second turret of the game. And now this dragon is going to absolutely be theirs to take. Inbred Loser popped the ultimate to try and get towards Ectra. I don't think that was ever going to work. But Ectra slowly being poked out of this, and they're going to try and put it into the dragon stacking that Momentum has had for quite a while now. Got the first two, but they can answer this one. The reset's coming out. 40 seconds that they'll have to reset, run back out onto the rift, but Momentum, credit where credit's due, they're equally positioned to deny some of this vision and be in a position to make a play. Black Mage has access to his ultimate, so this is very scary. And Save the Fishes, most importantly, hasn't grabbed anything yet. He's going to have to make a decision on what he wants to get. The Sunny Waffle chunked out there in the mid lane. This vision. Curtain Call grabs him. Now there's a man advantage. Black Mage on the side. Inbred wants to get involved with this fight. Electra going to fall down to the Cyrus surely, but there's still a lot of fighting to be done. Black Mage wants to knock down Syphil. He's got him in the ultimate. The charm won't do a whole lot. The final Q smashes across his head, and now this is a man disadvantage. 3 on 4. Health bar still very good for Momentum, but they need to play this right. Not going to be able to grab Chicken Thuggy, but the jungler is dead. Save the Fishes is still up. They don't want to risk any potential smite still, so they'll continue to stall this. They're going to grab the Scuttle Crab. Is the Nico clone just thrown out to get a little bit of vision? But this fight is still precarious. The respawn timers are so low that people can start to run out. So it fills up in about 5 seconds. Neither team wants to let this dragon go. Meanwhile, Sunny Waffle respawn from dying of this in the mid lane. So that final shot in the curtain call put an end to that. Teleport starting to come out. Not responded yet from the side of Momentum. This is a huge fight. Sunny Waffle on the back side of this. He's going to grab the Aatrox. There's a lot of ultimates missing, but Chicken Thuggy, most importantly, not able to land his. Meanwhile, Save the Fishes on the backside manages to kill the Mordekaiser. Huge damage threat gone. Momentum, they've got to get the hell out of Dodge, but Torres really has nowhere to go. Syphil manages to get the damage on Electro, who gets the dragon, so they stack that one, but it's going to cost them almost every member of their team. Fire and Ice has to get the hell out of there. In a long extended fight, it doesn't come up with a dragon for BBC. But they come away with kills, they come away with gold. Chains of Corruption going to miss, and now they're going to try and siege down on this mid lane turret. For Momentum, it cost you quite a bit to get that dragon, but now it's something that you have in your back pocket. It's a threat that you can level at BBC. So they're just going to continue to try and put damage into these towers. They want to grab many of these structures they can. A whole boatload of pings thrown down on top of the Silas that they are not going to catch. And now for Momentum, what's the next play? You've got 3 dragons, but you haven't taken any towers yet. You don't really have any control over the map yet. You're aggressive in your fighting, but some of these things aren't necessarily going 100% your way. So I think for them, it's got to find the pick on the right person and translate that into real objectives, into real tower taking. Realistically, you want to try and get Sifl. You want to try and get Sunny Waffle. Those are the main damage dealers. No disrespect to the Silas that's doing getting a tremendous amount of work done, but him and the Aatrox, they're not the champions you're worried about right now. You want to get this Varus down. You want to get this Ahri down. And so it's just about setting up those opportunities. Right now, though, they have control over this side of the jungle. Curtain call on top of the gen. Nowhere really to go. Last couple shots going to go wide, but they got the kill that they wanted. Pink's potentially on top of this Baron. Will they instead choose to go mid? I think it'd probably be smarter for them to try and knock down this mid lane tower before they make any attempt to make a Baron, take a Baron. Electra. You're supposed to try and steal away what they can. It's all about denying resources. So often the time, that's really, I think, the biggest difference.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
What else can I get? This is one of those slow moments before the big plays that start to happen that define a game. Speaking of defining a game, Sifl found Electra, manages to flash out, plus the wish, gives them a little bit of help, but now Chicken Thuggy has joined the fight. Electra slowly being healed up by the Soraka, but there's a lot of team fighting to be done. Inbred trying to get involved here in this fight is going to land a change. Black Mage flashes out of it to make sure that it doesn't confirm. Meanwhile, Save the Fishes wants to land this. Mordekaiser is going to get on top of the Yushi. Now that's a man advantage, plus the healing tank just straight up gone for momentum. Black Mage going to get caught up next underneath the Nico ultimate. He's in the death realm, but there's not a whole lot I can do right now. Has the passive staff, but he's surely dead as soon as he comes out of this one. Yes, he is, and now that should signal the Baron for BBC. That might be the touch of the game that they need to get ahead. Still threatened in the mid lane is that tower. They don't want to let it go. And the hesitation, the indecisiveness, clearly on display right now. Neither team really knows what they want to do. The posture on the Baron to get literally anything done just amounts to a couple of kills, but definitely Momentum came out worse on that one.
Light on my feet.
The gold lead, though, negligible. Netra, who's been so instrumental in Momentum having success in this game so far, starting to get countered. And I think the BBC have rightly recognized that as long as they can keep Ektra down, they have a very good chance of winning these team fights and a very good chance of getting control of those neutral objectives. But it's 1 minute to the Dragon. I think both of these teams, they want to find a pick. If you're Momentum, you want to pick Sifl. You want to get that Varus or that Ahri. Doing so gives you a tremendous amount of freedom, and it's a damage source that's gone. It's the playmaking gone. If you're BBC, you want to get Fire and Ice down, you want to get Ektra down. You're less worried about Black Mage. With multiple people around, even if you lose one person to the Death Realm, it's not such a big deal. But having Ektra down, especially as that Zyra, that advanced jungler, well, I say advanced, the utility jungler, the ability to just shred objectives with plants, means that you have a tremendous amount of damage threat on any neutral objective. We're sub 30 seconds on that Dragon. For BBC, this is must fight. You don't want to give this up. Mountain Dragon, Mountain Soul would give Momentum the ability to sort of survive this, sustain the damage that you've been putting out. You certainly don't want Black Mage getting it, because then it makes him really, really difficult to kill. Ping's coming down. Inbred loser resetting. Knows that this is going to be a big fight. Mordekaiser has teleport to join the fight, so doesn't need to leave the top lane yet. This is all going to be about timing. The Dragon has been started. The teleport is channeled, but they see this coming. A teleport channeled straight into the middle of the Dragon pit. Both sides trying to give space, trying to find the angle. There's not great engagement tools right now. Sifl uses the ultimate, doesn't find too much for it. Ektra on the Dragon. They want to focus this. They want to try and get this soul. A lot of abilities put down. Chicken Thuggies, though, on to 4. No kills just yet. Ektra almost at the death's edge, but he is. Goes down. Dragon denied for now, but now it's the other fight. Oh, no, it's the curtain call kind of on the wrong side. Wants to get something. Doesn't manage to get Chicken Thuggies. Silences all around. Torres, the next to fall. Triple kill for the Varus. What else can he get? Sunny Waffles wants to see if he can add another kill to the counter. Fire and Ice is dead. And Red Loser going to get his first kill of the game off that one, though. You know, the pings to go towards Baron. Inbred is very, very healthy, but I think they'd be very gutsy. The health bars are so low. It's 20 seconds minimum on 4 members of Momentum. They're going to try and rush this down. They're going to hit the plant, get the fruits. They're going to look to focus this down. They don't do it quickly, but they don't need to. Timer's coming out now. It's going to be a teleport from Ari. They're going to start to stack this Baron. And that was the play that they needed. That was the team fight they needed to break open this game. With their ability to siege, that Baron's going to do a whole lot for them. So they're going to get the reset and look to start shoving 3 lanes. And I'd like to see them 1-3-1. I'd like to stop seeing them make the same mistake that many other teams have been making this whole tournament. Which is that they've just been piling into one lane and trying to knock down towers that way. You have the ability to 1-3-1. You can send Inbred to the top side. You can send the Silas or the Ahri to the bot side. And then just stick 3 in the mid lane. And apply pressure there. Because it's very difficult for Momentum it's very difficult for Momentum right now to respond to any of those things. And for Momentum, it's just continuing to find a way to stall. You got to look for these opportunities. But it's so difficult for them to lock people down. Many of their ultimates are so telegraphed. Zyra ultimate, it's a massive AoE, and it's a little bit easy to walk out of, even if you're not expecting it to be deployed at a certain point. And Blackmane just has to straight up walk point blank to somebody to get that ultimate off, and it's going to become harder and harder to do as this damage becomes more and more lethal. BBC, they're well in control. Their fate is in their hands right now. They have absolute control of this game. They have nothing to be worried about. But even as I say that, though, Ektra has slain Simple. That's exactly what you wanted to talk about in that fight that happened earlier. You would have liked to see that happen, but Sunny gonna go unstoppable. It's a follow-up by the Silas as a teleport into the mid lane for Torres, who's gonna go try and see if he can kill Silas. Gonna go golden. Goes airborne for just a second, but does manage to get the shutdown. But that's for the expense of a mid lane turret. It's 2 dead for the side of Momentum. 2 dead for the side BBC. Meanwhile, though, Inbred, he is as snug as a bug in a rug with a mug that says #1 bug in that top side. He's just trying to do anything, but Inbred, his movement has been so good in that 1v1. It's a 4K gold lead for BBC right now. Again, not the most impressive thing, especially as the game goes later. As we're reaching the 27-minute mark, so it'll be definitely a sub-30 game. And right now you get into the rhythm where it's all about objectives, all about fighting over objectives. But it's always fun seeing what the shifting definition of an objective can be. Sometimes the objective is a tower. Sometimes it's a dragon. Sometimes it's a whole baron. Sometimes an objective is a ward. And you're willing to fight over a ward sometimes. And those are the fights I would like to see. I like 2 teams that are willing to scrap over just about anything. Now it's going to be about posturing for this dragon. A minute is not a long time in a game state like this. It comes and goes in an absolute flash. And both teams are going to want to be proactive in setting up vision. They want to find a flank angle. They know the people that they want to pick. It's all about making it happen. And in times like this, it's about who executes better, who has the better call, who positions better, who does the homework better, who puts in the pre-work that needs to happen. Chicken Thuggy just doing a good job of being a living ward, just kind of calling out the movements of multiple Momentum members. Needs to be careful, though. Doesn't want to overextend. Death Rush on top of Black Mage. What else can they do? Is it's multiple ults. Hit by Chicken Thuggy. Black Mage survived for just a little bit, but not enough. Curtain Call on top of everybody. The shots not going where they need to. Torres, surely the next to fall. He manages to slay the Varus, but that doesn't give them everything that they need. They need to get more members. Chicken Thuggy so low. Simple, not able to get involved in this fight yet. It's a shutdown on top of the Jin. What else can he get, though? Nothing. Not much. This Aatrox and this Silas just absolutely unbarred, uninhibited by anything that Momentum wants to do. And Inbred, oh, he's going to get passively hit by the damage from Ektra. And they trade a little bit of an emote. And Grit part their separate ways, but 4 dead for the side of Momentum, 3 dead for the side of BBC. This should just be the dragon. They're going to teleport straight towards that river and get this started off. And a close fight, but again, BBC just coming out ahead. Doing what they need to do, setting up a death rush. They managed to knock Black Mage out of that fight before it even began. And then Mordekaiser has not been able to get anything done right now. It'll be a long time in this game still before he's able to really become a super oppressive threat. And right now, BBC have been doing a great job of managing him. This is the calm before yet another storm. This has been one hell of a roller coaster ride. The ups and downs of this series. Game 1, how close it was, and that last minute finish is Torres just getting absolutely deleted. Once again on top of Sif, ooh, committed the flash, low health bars. Not enough damage for either of them to get it completely done. But that fight right there, that little 1v1 engagement, that has been sort of the poster child for how this series has been. Credit to both teams absolutely delivering on a fantastic series. And it's the importance of getting that final that's causing both of these teams to play a little bit more cautiously. Teleport gonna come out, extra, gets on top of Save the Fishes, the Nico not able to get anything done. Now this is the curtain call, these are the calls that make or break series. Save the Fishes, he's gonna go down. One dead for the side of BBC. What else can they get? Ziffle on the side, wants to see what he can get done. Baron is going to be spawning in a minute. That's 2 down. This is the moment that Momentum may have been waiting for. Jungler dead and support dead. Still 2 damage threats available though. Ziffle and Sunny Waffle. They can still do quite a bit to mess up this Baron. They can do quite a bit to ruin this. Can they even stall? They want to get some of the squishy members. They want to knock down the damage. It's not enough to have a tank. You got to have the damage to take the Baron. And Red Loser wants to get in there, forces a flash out. Rude, stun, is passively dying. Ziffle's dead. That was the big one that you needed. Inbred the next to follow. Baron's still aggroed. And enemy jungler still dead for about another 12 seconds. 1E just getting run down. Torres knocks him down. It's a double kill for the Jace. And that was the moment that they needed. 5 alive for the side of Momentum. And that may have been what they needed to turn this game around. Great plays and great calls can make a series, and Momentum just demonstrated that. You can only play with fire for so long before you get burned. BBC, they've been playing around the fire that was Black Mage and Electra. And mid-turn's going to go down. Now this would be a bad way to follow this up. Torres, with a wish, has enough health and manages to kill the Silas. I would say all on his own, but it wasn't. The Soraka helped there a little bit. But now they have 5 alive, they can start to siege this, and this game has suddenly turned on its head, where it seemed like BBC had the threat, just this implicit danger that they were presenting the entire time has now been completely nullified. And the right play at the right moment, even despite a dominant game state, can absolutely turn a play on its head. And Momentum, they have stayed disciplined. There have been some moments where they haven't been able to get what they wanted, some plays have gone against them, but it's hard to say that they haven't been measured and calculating in how they want to do this. Black Mage's just going to continue to passively do damage to the turret. Going to walk away, not going to get greedy. The only way that I get punished is if I stay too long. I'm going to start to knock down some of these free structures. This is just free standing gold that has been on the map for a while now. Turret's going to go down. Momentum. The gold swing now in their favor. Almost 4,500. They can start to position themselves very aggressively for this next dragon, which they haven't had the opportunity to do. Because BBC, credit where credit's due, they have been forcing these fights before Momentum can get set up around the dragons. Because it feels like when Momentum has time to prepare, they're much more dominant in those situations and they can get those dragons down, they can get those objectives and then turn and win the fight. But in moments where BBC can win fights before, they have gotten every objective. And this is about to be no different. Unfortunately, the waves have been mostly pushed out on that top side. Aatrox walking down to join this potential fight. Momentum, they just want to get steady access and control over this river. They have the ability to land the poke, as long as they can keep eyes on where the Ahri and the Varus are and knock them out of the fight. They have a chance to win this dragon fight and potentially win this series. But that's how tense this game is right now. Neither side's willing to make a big aggressive move right now because they know you win this fight, you win the game. You win this fight, you're going straight to finals. It's hard to underestimate and understate the stakes. Everyone wants to be a winner. There's a saying we used to have in the Navy when I was going through training. Everybody wants to be a gangster until it's time to do some gangster shit. Well, now it's time to gangster up. If you want to win, you're going to have to prove it. In this fight, This fight's going to be really, really close. Sonny Waffle has already lost the majority of his health. This is not the way you want to start it off. Jungler's grabbed the Mordekaiser ult onto that Silas. But the poke is just so bad for momentum right now. Black Mage momentarily CC'd. He may have overstepped the bounds. He's grabbed Save the Fishes into the ult. Wish is going to give him a little bit of health to work with. Here's the channel. Ultimate coming at Electra has slain 2. This is what they needed. It's a double kill. Momentum, they're winning the fight, and they may have just won the game off of that one. One manages to get away. They're running towards the bot side. They have minions there. They don't even need the dragon. They can just look to end the game. Save the Fishes is all on his lonesome for at least the next 25 seconds. And 25 seconds may be all it needs for momentum to win this series. He's going to go to the Golden Stasis, but they're going to take him out. They want to end the game right here, right now. They're going to knock down at least one inhibitor. Can they end this game, though? The timers are so long. They may have done it. This is it. Momentum. After a hard-fought series, after getting absolutely shut out in Game 1, getting roasted through so many of those moments, and having to struggle through this game, they have done what they needed to do. They're going to put the final series on this winner bracket, and they're going to move straight to finals. Momentum! A hard-fought series, but they come away with the win. Okay, and I'm going to undeafen myself. Extra! Good to see you. You had a hell of a game and a hell of a series.
Thank you, thank you.
How are you feeling? You guys are in grand finals. You've won your best of series. Y'all have played 6 games, like 2 full best ofs. How y'all feeling fresh? Y'all ready to enjoy a little bit of a break?
Yeah, man, we were ready to win this tournament when it began.
Okay, so walk me. I have to ask. I would be doing a disservice if I didn't. Walk me through Game 2, where you guys basically got shut out of that game. You know, you had a very close Game 1. It was a topsy-turvy game. Y'all won in a crazy fashion. We're like. BBC got caught trying to do this run it down thing and destroy the Nexus, and they fall short. And then you guys do the exact same thing in reverse and get it. And then Game 2 just get, like, no offense, but like blown out.
Yeah,
so
we got steamrolled. Yeah.
What was the comms like after that? Because like I didn't have time to go fill my water bottle. Like I came back and you guys were ready and raring to go. So like, what was that? What was that for you guys as far as like that mentality from like Game 2 to Game 3?
I think Skarner overall, just Eve was messing us up the entire game. A lot of us, we were focused more on taking away combos like Jarvan with Orianna and taking away the Syndra from CFIL. And yeah, it was just it was not all of us on our best champions.
Yeah.
And I think we were, even though we lost, I think we were okay going to the next game because it felt like we had more picks to play than they did.
Sure. Walk me through the draft ideology for 3. I was very surprised as far as seeing the sorry, I'm just responding to the other chat, trying to get the other games in a minute. I was very surprised to see this Zyra. So like what was the thing that motivated y'all to pull the trigger on that?
I just been solo queuing it, and it has a very fast clear. It allows me to. It's kind of just a broken champion, to be honest.
Sure.
It's a control jungle champ, and it makes it really easy to stop them from engaging onto us, the team as a whole. And then our mid laner kind of just took it off the rails.
Yeah. What are your guys' expectation for this grand final? So, like, who would you most like to play? Would you like a rematch with any of the guys that y'all played today? I mean, there's obviously that other series that loser series is still going, the full best of 3. They're actually waiting. We will be streaming that game here shortly. I won't be casting because I have to take like a short break because back to back on top of that is like it's brutal. But I'll take a short break and then I think I'll try and get Black Mage actually if I can to go. We'll cast that losers bracket one. But like, what is y'all's expectation? Like, who would y'all like to play in the finals?
I think I would be down to face them again, but I would hope that they would not ban my Zeri jungle. That's what I don't like.
Your Zeri jungle. Yeah, I was wondering about the constant Zeri, the Zeri bans.
Yeah, but Zeri jungle OTPs. That's what that was about.
That's categorically funny. Any lessons y'all have been learning as far as like this series? Y'all played full 2 best of 3, 2 full best of 3s. Like anything that y'all were learning that like y'all weren't expecting, that like maybe something you didn't realize like from scrimming or something like that, or.
In our first game, I think it was both games where we played the second game. we just pick stuff to try to take stuff away from other players. And even though we won the first one, we kind of hard lost both those games. So I think in the future, we're going to just prioritize getting us onto champs that we're comfortable with, and rather than trying to take something away from people, because I think we would be more successful that way.
Gotcha. Final question from me before I let you go and relax a little bit before y'all's finals. As far as the people that you've been playing with on this team and like your performances today, obviously we didn't get to see y'all's opening series. Like, has anyone like kind of impressed you on like how they've stepped up even through some of the?
Oh yes, our support carries us through every game. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Support roles OP. She plays it well, and yeah, just our mid laner is also great. Our top laner is great. Our ADC is great. I don't know. They're all great.
Gotcha. Well, I love to hear the support getting a little bit of love, and I love to see that you guys are doing well, and excited to catch you guys in the grand final. So go enjoy your very short break. Have fun, and yeah, be watching the stream through the next couple of rounds, because you're going to get to see who you're going to be playing in this champion best of 5.
Yeah, man, yo go.
All right, thank you so much.